All across the globe, there are people who belong to a very special and exclusive club. People of all shapes and sizes from all walks of life. It's a club that's not easy to join. Entry takes passion, determination, and heart. You have to be motivated, dedicated, driven, and just a little bit crazy. Everyone in the club gets the same title. It's a title that gets respect from most, a bit of skepticism from some, and can invoke a bit of frustration in others. It also lasts a lifetime, because what they say is true. Once a racer, always a racer. Of all the many forms of racing this world has to offer, ones that involve motorized vehicles are among the most exciting, challenging, and dangerous. Climbing onto or into a specialized web of steel and composites being hurled across the land or sky at white-knuckle speeds is not something anyone could or would do. But for those who will, it's not just a sport or hobby. It's a way of life, and it sets them apart from the rest of civilization. And this is how it is for the crew at Can-Am's factory race team S3 Powersports. They've been racing off-road vehicles of all different kinds in all different ways for many years and have had enviable success. Most recently, S3 Powersports, despite being located a long way from where the racing takes place, has been competing in the Best of the Desert side-by-side racing series that's based in Southern California and Nevada desert regions. We sat down with Dustin Jones, S3 Powersports operation manager and head side-by-side driver, to get a glimpse into where S3 Powersports came from, what it means to be a racer, and how S3 Powersports has become the team to beat in the Best in the Desert racing series.
S3 started how many businesses start. It's something you're passionate about, that you're knowledgeable about, and you really enjoy. I grew up riding ATVs. We grew up building them and mud riding and adding some aftermarket accessories. And so when we go out to these rides, we would take some spare parts with us to keep our own rigs going. Well, you have a family of a man and his wife and his kids come up to you at one of these 3-day weekend events and say, man, you know, we've heard you guys have some extra parts that y'all like to ride. Do you think that you have some that you could spare? Is there any way you could help us out? So absolutely, we would share our parts with them and we would give them some of the extras that we had. Well, we saw a niche for that, and we saw that we'd love to ride at these events. There's nobody out here helping everybody. So that gave us a unique opportunity to open S3 Powersports. We were sitting around a campfire one night and we were just chit-chatting about ways that we could evolve the company, new things that we could get into, new things that we could try. And it came up starting a race team. Shane had been racing for Can-Am for about a year. We built some really good relationships. He had some really good success in mud racing. And so they were throwing around the idea of starting a mud racing team. And man, it quickly progressed into building full-blown race rigs and building race side-by-sides.
With S3 racing well underway and the reputation for success growing on a week-by-week basis, it was only a matter of time before things were taken to the next level with full factory support.
Naturally, whenever you win multiple championships and multiple series in several different classes, then people start asking some questions about, hey, who are these guys? What's their deal? What do they have going on? And we were fortunate enough to actually get a call from the race manager at Can-Am to discuss possibly coming to race for them full-time and being a factory-sponsored racer, which I think is a dream come true for any racer. When you get that call from Can-Am, you never say no.
With full factory backing from Can-Am, Dustin and the rest of the crew at S3 Powersports set their sights on one of the most competitive side-by-side racing series in the U.S.
You know, racing in the desert and racing the Mint 400 and the Baja 1000, these are all bucket list things that we had talked about. We were shocked to get the call from Can-Am, as I think anybody would be, to get a call in Louisiana to be their Best in the Desert race team and come represent them out west, which was a 20-hour drive for us. We have nowhere around here to test a desert race car to make sure our shocks are dialed in and our clutching's right and all those type things. We didn't have an opportunity out here to do that. But we built such a strong relationship and we had proven ourselves in the mud racing so well that Can-Am was willing to take a chance on us and let us know that we know you guys have the drive to do it, we know that you have the passion to do it, and you have the capability of being a successful race team no matter what racing you're doing.
Racing in general comes with its own unique mix of challenges and rewards, but desert racing comes with higher highs and lower lows than almost any other form. S3 Powersports has certainly experienced their fair share of high points, but that doesn't mean they've been immune to the low points either.
We're a southern-based team in Louisiana, but we're factory-sponsored racers to race 1,500 miles away on the West Coast in the Best in the Desert races. And so that really poses some true challenges for our team, for our families, for work, for all these things, to where you have to make some sacrifices. We all have to take time away from our families that support us and love what we do and stand behind us. We have to take time away from work that pays our bills and keeps our race team going. And we have to do all these things in the chase of one more victory, in the chase of one more podium. There's really two big accomplishments that are really important, really dear to our hearts. And the most notable one is winning the Mint 400 at our first attempt at this race. It's the most prestigious off-road race in the United States. And that is something that so few people have accomplished in their life. Even racers that go to the Mint, there's guys that will race that race for years and never win it in their entire career. And it came to that realization after we had won the race, how prestigious it was, how big of a deal it was to win the Mint 400. Secondly, a race that's very near and dear to my heart, and something that was really important to myself and my co-pilot is the last race of the season, the Henderson 250. My co-pilot and me changed positions, which is a very unique thing. We had never done each other's jobs before, and we just decided to swap seats and let him race the car, and I was going to co-pilot the car. And so that was a huge leap of faith for both of us, because neither one of us had never swapped roles like that. In an amazing feat that I can't imagine has happened many times in off-road racing, in his very first race, moving from co-driver to driver, Shane went out and won the Henderson 250. It was a true testament of how Shane and I worked together as a team, and how our support team at S3 Powersports and S3 Racing worked together to make all things click and all the gears mesh, and we got another win on the season, and we exited our first season of racing with a victory.
With so many wins and so many championships in so many different forms of ATV and side-by-side racing, S3 Racing has become so much more than just a factory-supported team for Can-Am.
We have a really exciting dynamic at S3, to where we have S3 Powersports that manufactures parts. We build roll cages and bumpers and full suspension kits. We build custom vehicles inside the shop, as well as S3 Racing that has all of our guys that support that are a part of that race for us, that represent Can-Am. And so that dynamic has opened a lot of doors for us and built a really strong relationship with Can-Am. And so with our success in racing, with our team, it's opened more opportunities with marketing, with research and development, with developing new products and different things for Can-Am. These guys at Can-Am have given us crazy opportunities to drive new vehicles that nobody's seen before, to develop parts with their aftermarket team, to help them market new and exciting things. And so it's really a good relationship that's been cultivated through the race team, through S3 Powersports. And Can-Am has taken a ton of chances on S3 Powersports and given us opportunities that are very unique and open many doors for us. It's a good thing that we're working hand in hand together and developing really cool stuff, exciting stuff, and really quality parts for the consumers out there.
At the end of the day, the passion and dedication required to be a pro-level racer isn't something that just comes and goes. It becomes a part of you and who you are.
I always tell people that I'm a true racer at heart, and racing is who I am. It's not just what I do. And so I was brought up and taught by my dad and my older brother to build motors and build things to go faster and be better. And that family time together built memories that I'll never forget, I'll never let go of. And every time that I sit down in a race car, I think of those times, and I remember those times that we spent with our family racing on the weekend. And it drives me to be the best racer that I can, to make my family proud, to make my race team proud, to make Can-Am proud of me as a driver and a racer.
With all the success S3 has had in both business and racing, the only question that's really left to answer is what's next.
S3 Powersports and S3 Racing is a continually evolving body that's always growing. And so I was taught early on by Mr. Mao, whenever we opened S3 Powersports, that a business is never staying the same. It's either declining or it's inclining. And so businesses that try to set themselves up to stay on a plateau and continue along like they are, they're going to get surpassed by businesses like S3 Powersports that we're trying to grow and we're trying to evolve, and new products and new relationships and venturing out to do a lot of different things. And it's created the evolution of S3 Powersports and S3 Racing. That's how we went from a 2 or 3 man team of mud racers to an 8 or 10 man race team that's racing mud racing. We're racing cross country. We're racing best in the desert. And we're going out there and we're winning races and we're on podiums on a regular basis. And we've adopted that evolution into S3 Powersport. We went from just keeping customers going and riding at these events to now we're building these full-blown custom off-road rigs and evolving the company to where we've aligned ourselves with Can-Am and a major manufacturer to develop parts for them to go on their factory units, and it's offered to the general public in their catalogs and all type of venues, to where it's growing to more than we ever foresaw it to be.
If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Dirt Tracks TV's YouTube channel so you never miss another update.